Our McGuirt's vacation of Northern Ireland and the Atlantic coast was put together by travel agent Gail Jones with Gateway Travel in Sherman, Texas. And in Ireland, the tour was put together with Rabbi's Tour Radar, and our driver of our bus and our tour guide and knowledgeable person was Stephanie. The map you see took us over Ireland through the north, and the route is the way the bus basically went pretty much. The first night was in Dublin, then we went to Port Rush, then traveled from there to Donegal, and then to Westport where we spent 2 nights, and the next night was in Dublin again. And what you see is pretty much what we did with some variations because of the weather with rain and winds, but it was a great tour. Day one, we traveled from McKinney to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport to take an American Airlines flight to Dublin. We left on Friday at 7:05 p.m. and we arrived in Dublin Saturday at 9:45 a.m. Terrible trip. Seats are too close together. It was cramped. We were in the cheap seats, of course, so it was cramped. Day two, arrived in Ireland in Dublin, took a taxi to the hotel, left our bags there, went to an art museum, which was close. We toured it for several hours. It was big. We could have spent the day, but we needed to get out of there to go see some more of Dublin. Didn't want to spend the whole day there. It was great though. Lots of stuff. We went on the streets to look at stuff. Went to the Bad Boobs Temple Bar in Dublin to eat lunch. Had some Irish food, fish and chips and Irish stew, Guinness beer. It was good. Enjoyed it very much. If there's any problem, look at the food there. It's nice looking. That's the stew. And that's in the bar. Some more food we ate. We ate too much. Back on the streets, touring. There's the bus. The Chamber of Commerce room there. Back on the streets. Went down to the port of Garth. There's statues in the street there. Some signs of some of the buildings. Messing around. Guinness beer truck with the harp on it. There's the harp bridge over the river, symbol of Ireland. Went to the Jenny Johnson. It's a ship that they use to transport the immigrants of Ireland to the U.S. in the potato famine. They called it a death ship. We toured through the inside. They had people giving us tours. It was great. Wasn't too bad. It was the last tour of the day. We just barely made it. Had the potato famine people in the streets there, some statues. Went to St. Andrew's Church. We toured through the church, looking at the stained glass, the front of the church, the organ. Saw some of the statues in it. It was neat. It was a pretty church with all kinds of stuff. And John and Luke. We lit candles in the church too and prayed. Went back on the streets. Went down by the walk again. There's a heart-shaped thing. And was walking on the streets. We did lots of walking. That's the bar, Temple Bar. That picture of us is there. We're taken from the U.S. by, it's either Stephen, my son, or Tammy's husband, Monty. They were watching us on camera. Back on the streets, walking, seeing things, back to the hotel. That was the Devonport Hotel, and that's where we spent the night. Day three, Dublin to Port Rush, a coastal route. We're getting ready to leave Dublin. We're at McDonald's eating breakfast before boarding the bus. Got our backpacks on. That's what they look like. Now we're getting ready. There we are, ready to go. We're on the bus now. On our way to Belfast. There's our driver. That's what it looks like inside the bus somewhat. Past the church along the way, cemetery. Now we're getting into Belfast. This is a wall of the city. In the middle of the city, separates the Protestants from the Catholics. They still hate each other up there, I guess, in Belfast. We toured the city, looked at things. Lots of posters and signs and buildings. There's the gates. There's the bus we ride in. It's kind of neat. It's different. There's the gates. They're open. 10 o'clock at night they close. Open up in the morning sometime. Buildings around Belfast. We're on our way through Belfast to see the Titanic exhibit, and this is it. It's a Titanic exhibit here. We walked through it. These are the buildings. There's a museum above. We did not go through the museum. Went to the gift shops, and we had lunch there in the cafeteria. The poles out behind Terry were the ship, size of the ship. Just marking it for people. Store to buy your gifts at. It's the Ulster County. My relatives, I think, are from the Ulster County, so we're up from that area somewhere, McGuirt's. Back on the bus, we're on the way of leaving Belfast. Saw a McDonald's on the way out. We didn't stop. We didn't stop there, so the gate was opening for something. Pretty places. Beautiful city, lots of old buildings in it. And we're going the coastal route to see along the coast as much as we can. There's lots of little towns along the way, lots of beaches, lots of mountains, big sailboat out there, little river running through the city. I don't remember the name of this city. Got a wall you drive through there, a tunnel like. These steps are from the Game of Thrones. The movie was shot here in this little town, in this little port there. They will come into the port and have the movie shot there. There's a poster coming up. Game of Thrones. There's the steps they crawled up out of on the Game of Thrones. We walked on them. We didn't take our picture, though. Lineology, I guess. People from the tour group. There were 9 of us touring on this bus. 16-person bus. We drive along. Lots of sheep everywhere. Lots of green. Lots of cliffs. It's a walking bridge you can go across, swinging bridge. We didn't have time to go through it, so we bypassed it to move on. It's Tammy sitting on a rock, Terry sitting on a rock. The waves and the rocks behind them, the cliffs. Beautiful scenery. This doesn't do justice. The Giant's Causeway. These are octagonal shaped stones. They're all different heights. They're all over the place. It's kind of a weird looking thing. We go around them. This is part of the exhibit there of them. It was raining some, and also my raincoat is my coat, so I wear my coat too, because I didn't have a heavy coat, just a windbreaker. They had big old sweatshirts on. Lots of waves, lots of water. Look how tall these things are compared to me. Terry and Tammy like out by the water and try to get wet. Looking down, there's Marie and I down there. They're walking down from the top of the hill.
Hello, Terry.
The noise you hear is the wind. Baldy Castle along the way. We didn't get to go on it, but we got to look at it. Quite a big castle out there sticking on the rocks. Lots of cliffs. Beautiful country. With lots of rocks. Giant's Causeway. standing in the bus. There's Bally Castle again.
Oh, like that little one that was like a page on. Oh, like that little hole over there. You can...
Beautiful cliffs. Now we're in Port Rush, where we're going to have supper and spend the night at a hotel. Walk around the city with telephone booths just for playing. Day 4. We're sitting outside watching the sunrise in Port Rush. And we're on our way to, what did you call it, Londonderry, to look at the gates of the 7 gates. Walk around the castle walls. There's a wall around the whole old town, which is the old fort wall, and we're walking on it, so it's pretty neat. Then we come to a church, we go inside of it, we're having an open house and just playing things, perfect timing. Back on the bus, driving across the countryside. Then we go to Celtic ruins, built about 500 BC, and we tour those. Of course, it's windy and rainy. A professor from a college and some students helped rebuild part of it that was tore down. People were starting to take the bricks and build houses with it or something, so they saved it, made it a national monument. Traveling to a national park, Glenveigh National Park, to tour an old castle that's there and the lands on it and the gardens. This is out of the bus we're traveling in. It's a drawing of it. This is the entrance to it. There's the castle. There's a bunch of rooms that have got their furniture in it. You can self-tour it. We didn't take a lot of pictures inside. We ate there at a cafeteria. Beautiful place. Harp, one of the rooms. They had beautiful gardens out there. They had a big lake by it. A swimming pool by the lake. It's all kind of stuff. They live pretty good. Big old mansion, castle. Driving back, we're on a fishing village. So some of these are the boats they used to fish with for their infrastructure. Now we're back in, stopping in the mountains, looking at things, the mountains. We drive through, and we drive into the Atlantic Ocean, coastwise. What you see out there, the water-wise, is the Atlantic Ocean. We're touring it on our way to Dingle. Beautiful out there. The clouds are low and you can't see the top of the hill for the clouds. They're really low. So it's actually taller than it looks. We're in the city of Dungle, where we're going to spend the night and eat. This is a few scenes of the hotel and a restaurant we found. Having fun. Some bedrooms. Around the city, that's inside the hotel. Day 5. Hannah's hats for Terry Baldy's hats. We're on our way to Westport. These sheep on the side of the road. We're going to Glencar Waterfalls. It's a pretty waterfall, pretty out in the woods. A nice walk out there. Really nice. Enjoyed it very much. A little wet. Back on the road again, we stopped around there to see things. All kind of sights in the mountains, all green. Another waterfall. There's a lot of waterfalls all over the place. Back on the bus. This is at the pub where we ate lunch. The person singing is a member of the tour group. This is all of the tour group plus the driver.
Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go.
We had a good time.
I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go. There's so many times I've let you down. So many times I've played around. Tell you now, they don't mean a thing. Every place I go, I think of you. Every song I sing, I'll sing for you. When I come back, I'll bring your wedding ring. So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never
We're waiting on our food. That's a beer tap made of a harp for Guinness beer. We go into a castle. This castle was a woman pirate's castle. It's kind of small. Probably some of it's still missing out there. It's tore down. Yes, it was a 2-story at one time or more, but the wood is all gone, rotted away. It's kind of neat. Right along the water. Sheep there on the roads. Houses out in the fields as we drive by. We went back to the Atlantic Ocean to tour some more cliffs. These are not as big, but they're still pretty. The water is nice. The Atlantic Ocean hitting on the seashore. Castles up there on the hill. Beautiful country. Back on the bus. It's a long ride. Signs along the way. We stop and look at stuff. Those are the peat bogs where they dig the peat out to fuel their heat. Back to another place on the ocean. We move around a bit. Seeing different sights. Really nice. The water's like a picture. Like a painting. Keel stand is the beach. Over to the local beach. That's what it looks like. The women's bathroom is named Ma. The men's is Fur. Kind of interesting. This is some ancient sites for the burial of people about 6,000 years old. The bones are under there. You never dug them up. The Castle Court Motel or hotel is where we spend the night. So we got there early so we could mess around town, look around, tour the place, take pictures, enjoy ourselves. Beautiful town. Beer kegs. There's a long view there. Court. That's in the center of the city. This is some of the food we ate that night. Don't remember what it was called or which one was mine even, but it was good. Interesting. Went to a church, went inside of it. I was on the streets out late. In the bar, there's a guy singing. Not many customers that night. On the streets again. And the time, it's getting about time for us to leave. We're fixing to leave Westport, and we'll come back this afternoon. We're out getting ready to go. We ate breakfast first. Then we're out again. And we're on the road into the mountain passes, touring around. Some monuments to the potato farmers that died. Some of them to America. Ashley Falls. It's a waterfall. Not sure it's always like this, but it's probably this way because of the rain. The Abbey. We went to an abbey, which is last run by the nuns. It was a school for girls. They closed down. Originally built by some brothers and people, and they went out of business, went bankrupt. There's a lot of people getting in. Everybody pays to get in. Got to have a ticket. And the rooms are set up in the old furniture where it used to be originally with the original families. It's kind of neat looking. A few shots. That's one of the nuns. It's people that founded the house and built it. See, the room's nicely set up with a piano. Outside in the rain, looking at the gardens in the yard. Flower gardens there. Statues in the yards. Now we left there and we're out on the road and taking pictures of the scenery. And so ate lunch there at the little breakfast place. It's a Kilroy sheep farm. We went there to watch the sheepdog herd the sheep in from the field and bring them in. And people got to carry and hold the sheep if they wanted to. Kind of neat. Then we went back to Westport, had lunch, had fish and chips. At the hotel, there's a sandwich there, lettuce, tomatoes, macaroni, and something else. Then we're going to sleep for the night, so leave tomorrow morning. Day 7, from Westport back to Dublin. We're at the hotel. We're outside patch, ready for the bus. We're traveling, looking at the countryside. There's a whole abbey. There's a Franciscan monastery that we're going to tour through. There it is. We go inside and go to the grounds. And we look around. Kind of neat. Lots of looking. Kind of neat. Got all that. Ancient stuff built in the 1300s. Still standing. Fascinating to see the way some of it's constructed, the architecture. The Quiet Man, the city of Cannes. This is where The Quiet Man was filmed, the John Wayne movie. There's his statue. Some players playing music outside. Always somebody playing music around these cities. It's a musical city for some reason, all the cities. Castle in the background that's on the edge. I was using part of the film. This was in the streets. It was in the streets in the movie. This is the Pat Carhorn Bar. That was in the movie. There it is behind us. And there it is without us. We beeped ourselves out. This is a building where the dying man came out of. That white building with the red is where he came out of. This is a bridge where they rode across. This is a fishing hut on the river. There's some kind of a lodge across there. Something like $1,000 a night to stay in it or something. We didn't go there. There's a guard at the gate. All kind of pretty stuff around the city. This is the church where part of The Quiet Man was filmed. This goes into a garden where part of it was filmed. Part of the cast that was there. Some buildings in the city. John Wayne's house was replicated here. It was actually tore down. This is John Wayne, and John Wayne again was the actress. Inside the museum, there's posters and films and replicas and some of the furniture. Not a lot. There's the hats they wore. Train station, a newspaper from the area. The organ, she played her piano, whatever it was. Some more posters. Telephone booth. Yesterday with telephone booth. This was a clothing stop, a wool store. We bought some stuff in there. I've traveled to another city where we went shopping, had lunch, a few drinks. Kind of a neat place, good bar. Kind of strange. This is a typical washateria. They're all outside, everywhere. This is the oldest licensed distillery in Ireland. Went in there and had a few drinks. I had Irish coffee along with the other two people with me. We had a good time. There's the bartender. There we are in it. On the way back to Dublin, there's a car on fire. We joked it was an electric car. Back at the Clayton Hotel in Dublin by the airport. We're staying the night. This is our last meal in Dublin. Day 8, Dublin to Dallas. We're at the hotel, the Clayton Hotel, fixing to leave. And we're leaving Dublin. Now we're in Dallas, Texas. We're home. This vacation to the Northern Ireland, the Atlantic coast, with my son Terry, his wife Marie, and my daughter Tammy. One thing I missed was my son Stephen and his family being with us. Wish they could have been there. Maybe next time we can all be together. I've been to 41 countries, 5 continents. This was probably the best trip I've ever had, partly because of my family, partly because the tour guide was actually giving us a history of Ireland. Every place we went, she knew the history. She could go back 6,000 years. Where we were going, she would tell us the entire history of the good, the bad, the ugly, beautiful. She knew it all. She knew Ireland. And there's no place we went that she didn't know the history of it. And that brought it alive to us. It made it great. And it made the trip wonderful. Scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 10.